Welcome inside Brunswick Mesa Lanes in Mesa, Arizona for the finals of the Rollers and Pro Bowlers. Hello everyone, I'm Jan Schmidt. Thanks for joining us, and I think you'll be glad you did. We have a wonderful event. It's the 6th Rollers and Pro Bowlers, but it's the first time that it's a part of the PWBA national television schedule. The event has teams of 3 people. Each one has a wheelchair bowler, a senior bowler, and a PWBA member. We started with 32 teams, and we're down to just 2. The championship match will be Team Terrell, featuring wheelchair bowler Tom Hein, senior John Handegard, and PWBA's Kim Terrell, versus Team Macpherson, with wheelchair bowler Ziggy Tkaczenko, senior Hobo Boothe, and PWBA's Wendy Macpherson. Working with me will be Carolyn Doran-Ballard. And Carolyn, what's it like to bowl this event?
That's a very simple question to answer. I'll tell you, those days you wake up and you say to yourself, God, could life get any worse? Gee, are things ever going to get any better? Well, competing in this tournament, these ladies and gentlemen show you what life and competition is all about. And let me tell you, nothing's impossible when you watch them compete.
I would agree, Carolyn. And how about tonight? Do you have a pick for a winner?
I got to tell you, both teams are pretty even. The handicap is even, and we have 2 past champions. Hobo Boothe won this event last year, and Kim Terrell won this event 3 years ago. So you know what? It's going to be a tight match.
It sure is, and they're just about ready. They're finishing their warm-up. Stay with us. We'll be right back. The championship round finals of the Rollers and Pro Bowlers are being brought to you by the Women's International Bowling Congress, striving for 87 years to identify and fulfill the needs of women bowlers. By Travelodge Hotels, proud to be the official lodging sponsor of the Professional Women's Bowling Association. And by PWBA.com, your shopping source for the new line of official PWBA merchandise. And they're about ready to start. Carolyn, we should explain the comment you made about handicap. The PWBA bowler and the senior bowler are bowling scratch, as they always do. However, the wheelchair bowlers get a handicap based on their average.
Yes, and the team of Macpherson will be getting 54 pins, and Kim Terrell's team will be getting 59 pins, and that will be added in the first round.
Okay, and there, Ziggy Tkaczenko, what a start, and he's a new bowler. We'll get into that in a minute, and now we'll have a look at Tom Hein.
And let me tell you, this could get to be a rowdy crowd. They are competitive.
Okay, so 7 count. They'll take probably a couple frames, get adjusted to television here.
Something a little different.
Hobo Boothe now up. He's on Team Macpherson.
Hobo not new, new to TV, 3 titles on the senior tour. Home in California. Great bowler, great competitive. Won this event last year with PWBA member Kathy Tribby and Tom Zacharich.
Tom Hein going at the spare. He hasn't won.
It's a
All right, so a clean start for everybody. Hobo stepping up to shoot at the 4-pin. And senior John Handegard is a member of the Terrell team.
14 senior titles. 15, I apologize. Nacogdoches, Texas, owns Texas Pro Bowl with his fiancée, Nancy Word. He'd like to say hello to her today.
And there's a great opening shot.
That's how you win 15 titles on the senior tour, with shots like that.
So it's a 3-person total. As they bowled throughout the week, the match play, individuals receive bonus pins, plus the team total receive bonus pins. Tonight, they'll just be the 2 teams with their total, plus the handicap for the wheelchair bowlers, as you said, which will be added in from the beginning of the game, so you can keep track. Wendy Macpherson, a face you're very familiar with, bowler of the decade of the 90s.
Comes in just a little light, leaves the bucket. Kim Terrell, 14 years on tour, 9 titles. This year, the WIBC Queens Tournament. Great shot by Kim, ring and 10, and boy, did we see a lot of ring 10s and ring 7s for the left-handers this week. Wendy changing balls, using her spare ball to shoot at the spare and leaving the back pin. Kim changing balls to shoot at the 10 pin. Ball that goes straight, no hook. Shoot right at it, cross lane. Picks up the score.
Okay, so it was a lot of fun, and I bowl this event every year except for this year, and it is such a thrill to bowl with the wheelchair bowlers, and as you mentioned, Carolyn, to watch what they can do physically. It's amazing.
It is very amazing, and like I said in the opener, Tom, want to knock out that 10. You know, everybody does it. You know, you make your comments every day about life in general, and here you come to this tournament, and all you see is happiness, friendliness, competitiveness, and I'll tell you, you walk away with just a new perspective on life and a newfound respect for things that you didn't think about in the past.
Ziggy Tkaczenko, and Carolyn, you mentioned he's a pretty new bowler.
He just started getting prepared in February, end of February, March for this tournament. He bowled 1 in June, I believe it was the Wheelchair Masters tournament. He finished 12th, and he said, I'm going to come out to this event, and he went up to a 15-pound ball, and let me tell you, they said he bowled fantastic this week. Here we see first year as an AWBA member.
The AWBA is American Wheelchair Bowling Association.
And this is only his second tournament.
Looks great. Squares it up. And this event put together and sponsored by Wheelchair Bowlers Incorporated.
He was a little bit left of his strike shot. Hooks it right into the spare. Let me tell you, they're strong. Their upper body strength is very strong. They work very hard at it to create ball speed. Another great shot by John Handegard.
Yeah, he seems to be lined up and ready to go. Hobo Boothe left a 4-pin the first time up. A little bit high and
little high,
4-7.
leaving the 4-7.
Meanwhile, Kim Terrell up. And the ladies anchored the teams all week.
She said that Tom bowled so well, she thought his low game was 170. And she goes, 170, and then with the hand impact, she goes, he was just running everybody over.
Well, the spare covered it up. Wendy Macpherson now up, and it was close getting into this, and it went right down to the wire. In fact, the teams were just determined maybe an hour ago, a little more than an hour ago.
There were a lot of matches that came down 1-2 pins. I know we lost our match by 6 pins. I mean, there were a lot of close matches. It was very exciting.
Oh, 10-pin for Wendy. Well, Carolyn, when you're bowling something like this, how much pressure is there on you to perform? You're anchoring the team, and do you feel like you're performing for those other bowlers?
Yes, and I'm going to speak from experience. The first 2 times, the first day that I had a strike in the 10th frame, I left a bucket both times. And I cannot tell you the irritation, because I said to myself, yeah, I can strike for 19 titles, and I can't strike for this to win a match. I mean, it drove me crazy. But you know what? I feel like I'm letting everybody else down. It really wasn't for me. It was for them.
Exactly.
And honestly, I guess your inner self tells you there is a pressure there.
There's a look at the score right now. Team Terrell actually in the lead by 14 pins. Scoreboard sponsored by Travelodge. And the pluses you see there on the left, that's not the lead. That's the handicap that those 2 bowlers receive. Ziggy Tkaczenko. What upper body strength that takes to do that without any motion.
And that touches on something, you know, they use, some of the wheelchair bowlers use a different chair to bowl in than they do for everyday life. Ziggy was telling me he uses a chair that's welded together, it's got a rigid frame, and it doesn't move, doesn't collapse, doesn't do anything. Great shot by Tom. Right down the middle of the lane, gets a little rotation on it. pushes that 9-pin right out of there.
So if you also look at Ziggy's chairs, he's up there. The chair he's using, he has no arms on it. It doesn't block his arm swing.
And it's a little bit heavier than his everyday chair. His everyday chair is only about 20 pounds because using a chair every day, you want something a little bit lighter because you're going everywhere with it. This chair is a little heavier, and like you said, it doesn't collapse, it doesn't fold down. It gives him the stability he needs at the foul line.
Seems to be working well for him, and that's interesting information. I'm
John
sure
Handegard, excuse me, oldest player to win a PBA event. He was 57 years old, and he told me, he says, I am very proud of that.
He should be.
Actually, back in 1995, the Kennewick Open, and he said, you know I am the oldest player. And I said, yes, I do know that.
And was he happy you knew?
He was happy I knew, and he wasn't afraid of his age. Great shot by Hobo.
And the crowd picking up the typical Boothe, Boothe, Boothe chant.
Yes.
John Handegard, very serious type bowler, though. Always has been.
And being that serious has earned him 3-time Senior Bowler of the Year honors. I mean, he just is a very meticulous, focused senior bowler.
Wendy Macpherson, as I said, bowler of the decade. She's had quite a career, has accomplished just about everything. Member of the Millionaire Club.
Another great shot by Wendy, leaving that ring 10. She said today, in the last few matches, she left a few more ring 10s. They moved down to the lower end of the house. A few more ring 10s than she was leaving. House, low end to high end, played a little bit differently. Going just a little high, leaving the 4, 6, 7. Kim bowled fantastic in the position round game, and she looked right back at everybody and said, this is the best reaction I had all week. Said, no better time than the present.
Exactly.
Wendy changing ball, she's right at her 10 pin. Looks like a good shot, gets it to the right, just hooks a little bit on the end. Looks like she threw it just a little bit slower than the last shot. She said ball speed was critical for her.
Well, through 3 frames, it's a close one. We'll be right back with more from Brunswick Mesa Lanes. So through 3 frames, Team Terrell is in the lead by 4. I told you it was close. We're having to add the scores in the handicap, so it took a few moments. Here's some of the other finishers who were out in the first elimination, finishing the 21st to 32nd bracket. That was Team Gaines and Team DeRupo. Vern Pierce there, Dave Davis. Carolyn, there you are. Yeah, that's right. You said you let your team down.
I did.
No. Tom Hein was quickly up and leaving the 310. And we're joined in the booth by the president and CEO of Wheelchair Bowlers Incorporated, Tony Alagna. Tony, welcome. We're glad to have you up here.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
You were kind of the mastermind to this event. What made you do something like this?
I was bored. Well, I had applied for my PBA card, and then I got placed in a wheelchair. And I thought it would be fun to get out with the guys and bowl. And found out that they bowl out of wheelchairs. I never knew it. So I tried it. I liked it, and so we tried to put it together.
Look at this shot. Oh, I thought it might hook for a minute. So as Carolyn was talking about the different chairs and stuff, do you use a different chair for bowling?
No, I use the same one that I move around in. I don't bowl as much as some of these guys do, but the weight of the chair and the rigidness of the chair is what keeps you stable.
And the funny thing Ziggy had mentioned, as Ziggy changes balls to shoot his spares across the lane, he's really learned so much in a year. He says, I have back brakes, but I don't have front brakes yet, but I'm working on that. Because now the more he wants to bowl, he says, I got to get it all. I got to get this chair set up the right way. So that's very important also.
The brakes on the front keeps the chair from wobbling from side to side. And when you throw the ball, throwing the ball pushes the chair to the left side if you're right-handed and takes you right off your mark. So you got to lock the wheels.
Okay. Now, what does Wheelchair Bowlers Incorporated do?
Well, we try and get the children's hospitals and old people's homes, and bring lanes in with a little plastic ball and let them bowl. And we take them out to the parks. We go to the cerebral palsy places and stuff like that. They're
Okay, so basically what you do is try to get people in wheelchairs to be able to bowl, to be able to compete.
Not only bowling, to get them out of the house, go fishing, do anything, just to show that you don't have to be stuck in the house. Your wheels are your shoes, and out you go.
Okay, now there's, I know we're going to provide some information a little bit later on, and people who have an interest in hearing about Wheelchair Bowlers Inc. and what they can do to get involved in wheelchair bowling. But it's really become actually quite popular. I see a lot of wheelchair bowlers bowling in regular ABC and WIBC leagues.
Yes, yes. A lot of people like to bowl. Myself, I like to bowl with the stand-up, as we call them. And it's more fun beating them than it's beating someone in a wheelchair. You have no idea what it's like when you bowl with these professional women and men, and you should be lucky enough to beat them scratch. You're popping buttons as you're coming back from the approach.
Terrell now up, and he strikes, answering Macpherson's strike. Hobo Boothe had a double there, and John Handegard with a spare. And as I mentioned, if you need information on where you can go, wheelchairbowlers.com, or you can call 480-962-9609. Right now, Team Macpherson in the lead by 19 pins.
Great shot by Tom, leaving that 10 pin.
Thought he was going to kick out.
Yeah, the other thing about Tom is Tom was a substitute last year. And I hurt my shoulder, and he took my place, and that's how he got in the tournament this year.
He liked it so much he came back.
He came back, yeah, and he wanted to know if my shoulder was good, bad, or indifferent, but I said, you're bowling anyway, so don't worry about it.
But you bowled as well, right, Tony?
No, I just bowled, not as well.
I
bowled. Had a difficult time letting go of the ball. This tournament makes you nervous.
No.
When you bowl with the professionals, you know, it's a little different than bowling with the guys. Especially
Looks good. All right. Yes.
They cover it up. And you know what, though, Tony? It's ironic. You were sitting here, I think we were talking before, that it makes us as nervous bowling with you.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, but I've seen it. We put the women in the anchor spot on purpose to put the pressure on them because the senior players didn't want it.
And the pressure worked. I can verify that. Ziggy also changing balls to go across lane and making that spare again.
Ziggy is a very good friend of my son Dan, and actually my son Dan and I talked him into bowling. He's more into football and baseball and rugby and all of that stuff, and somehow or another we got him talked into bowling, and he's been doing very, very, very good.
Great shot there. John enjoys travel even after all these years, and golf and reading, those are his hobbies.
Another great shot by John Handegard, getting a little right around the track area, and he likes it.
I don't know if you know it, that Ziggy rides a motorcycle.
Really?
He has his own motorcycle, and my son and he go out and riding all the time.
Meanwhile, Hobo Boothe was up there and left a 10 pin. He was working on a double.
That went a little further down the lane, threw it a little bit harder, comes in light again. I'll tell you, the light hits this week, everybody said, light hits carried better. I could hit the pocket all day and leave 10 pin, 10 pin, 10 pin.
Well, the carry was very difficult this week.
Yes.
The wheelchair players had more problems with the 7 pin.
Mm-hmm.
Wendy Macpherson, she's working on a strike. She could pick up an extra 10 for her team if she doubles here.
Wendy said she always looks forward to this tournament because she comes in, she doesn't put too much pressure on herself, but she absolutely feels so comfortable and has such a good time that she feels like it gives her a little confidence and a little motivation for the next week. Here's that light hit. Getting the 5-7 out of there.
So it's Team Macpherson in the lead midway through the match. More action when we return. But first, enlightening info on the health benefits of bowling in this week's WIBC Extra Frames. One of the most difficult obstacles faced by the women of the PWBA and Women's International Bowling Congress members everywhere is overcoming the notion that bowling is not a real sport. Contrary to popular belief, bowling requires skill, agility, and has definite health and fitness benefits. Did you know that bowling has been scientifically determined to burn roughly 270 calories per hour and has been found to have a metabolic equivalent of 4.0? How about that bowling 30 minutes 3 to 4 times a week is recommended by national health authorities as a way to improve your health? Or that exercise from bowling helps keep cholesterol levels low, possibly reducing the threats of some diseases? And that lifting a bowling ball helps tone the muscles of the upper body, while the downswing and backswing force the chest to expand for deeper breathing. Like any sport, stretching is important. Before you pick up a bowling ball, take a moment to do some stretching and get yourself ready. Bowling works a number of muscles in the shoulders, arms, legs, back, chest, and gluteus. Stretching can be done almost anywhere, at home, while traveling, or even on a work break. Warming up properly increases muscular and joint-specific flexibility, reducing the risk of sprains, strains, or soreness, and improving overall joint integrity. To get the most out of your weekly bowling routine, stretch properly before and after bowling, and practice safety at all times. For tips on stretching and fitness, contact your doctor or an accredited fitness instructor. And for more information on bowling, as always, visit bowl.com. Health benefits for wheelchair bowlers are enormous. In fact, wheelchair bowling started as a form of rehabilitative therapy for those with spinal cord injuries and has become a full competition sport. There's a look at some of the people that love wheelchair bowling and have become very competent at the sport. Team Macpherson now in the lead by 18 pins. We'll be right back with more team bowling. Stay with us. Look at some more of the finishers in that 21st to 32nd bracket. Team Norman, Brenda Norman.
Merv Kaya coming all the way from Hawaii.
Dave Sutar, familiar name. Team Adler here.
Kim Adler, one of our champions from this year.
Larry Everett, Vicky Ray Sexton, and Bobby Knipple, Tim Lane. They had a fun team. Kelly Kulik. Martin Frost, he's a talented bowler.
Number of Hall of Fames.
And there's Team Herman, Nicole Herman, a new PWBA member. Kathy Wright, one of the female wheelchair bowlers.
And Kathy Wright bowled this event, I believe, for the first time last year. Had such a good time. She actually was teamed up with my sister, Kathy Doran Lizzie. She had such a good time. I remember her saying, I'm coming back next year. And she was here, and let me tell you, what a delightful lady.
There's a look at where the scores stand right now, which with the handicap actually puts Macpherson, Team Macpherson in the lead by 16 pins. Still very close with half a game left. Ziggy.
Looked like a good shot by Ziggy. Got it in maybe just a little bit and left a split, 4-6-7. One of the keys that the wheelchair bowlers told me was they have to project the ball to the right. Because of slower ball speed, the ball is going to hook to the left for the right-hand bowlers, vice versa for the left-hander. So they said, got to project that ball to the right, got to keep my speed up.
Yeah.
Now, do you know, and Tony, maybe you know, or Carolyn, if you talk to some of the couple of ladies that bowled in the wheelchairs, for them, is it more difficult because a woman typically doesn't have as much upper body strength?
Well, they push that chair around all the time. They develop the body strength. They do exercises and get the body strength.
Okay, so they're just as capable.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I wish we had more women.
Yes, I do too.
More women bowlers.
There were what, 2 of them in this event?
2 in this event. Yeah, one got ill and had to drop out.
Okay, and in fact, one of them won 3 years ago with Kim Terrell.
Yeah, Jeannie won.
Good shot. Great spare by Tom.
You just glance over Hobo's head there. Hobo's ready to go.
Well, one of the things about the wheelchair bowlers, we are not allowed to have our feet on the floor. They have to stay on the poles at all times, so you can't get extra leverage.
Oh, okay. Okay. And those are rules. Where are your wheelchair bowling rules established?
Now, they were established a long time ago with the AWBA.
Okay. They established the rules.
Yeah,
all right.
they established the rules and we follow them.
Okay.
Plus the ABC rules also, WIBC
Okay.
rules.
Okay.
It was a great light hit by Hobo Boothe. Told you the lighter ones carry a little bit better. Flush though for John Handegard.
Yeah, John is lined up now. He's just 4 strikes out of 6 frames.
I haven't seen him that excited in a long
Fish.
time.
Gets it a little bit to the right. Little hook in the track area. And he likes it.
You know, and
He
part
got
of
the
that
result
is
he wanted.
part of that's the motivation of trying to bowl for other people.
Absolutely. There is absolutely no doubt about it. I asked Wendy, I go, Wendy, are you excited about being in the finals? She said, absolutely. Ziggy's second tournament, I would love to just look at him and go, here, we won.
Kim Terrell now up, trying to throw a 3-bagger for her team. She's working on a double. Oh, not a good shot.
Got it in just a little bit. There was oil in the middle part of the lane. And what happened was when you got the ball in and then sent it to the right, you got that little bit of hang, leaving the bucket, a light 7, whatever it be. You had to get the ball to the track area. That's where the friction was on the lane. That's what got the ball to hook back.
And to clarify, if you're wondering at home, no, we are not bowling on a sport condition this week because they wanted to make it a little bit fairer for everybody bowling and keep the scores up, keep the motivation high and the morale high. So,
Well, one thing is the wheelchair players need a little bit more.
because of all
Otherwise,
speed.
they never get the ball down the lane.
Right. There's a few facts. PWBA members, most of their balls 10 to 13 pounds. Look at that, a 200 game, the highest ABC score.
Yes, by Walt Roy, a
Oh, that's an average,
paraplegic.
actually. It's average of 200.
And 4,000 bowlers participate. That's fantastic.
Walt Roy actually shot a 299 game. That was phenomenal.
He also bowled in the ABC Masters, Senior Masters in Tucson. He
Wow.
was the first wheelchair player to do that.
Really, Walt Roy did
Walt
that?
Roy did, yeah.
Now, speaking, you tapped on this a little earlier, Tony. Ziggy, when you talked about your legs. Ziggy is a paraplegic, but an incomplete,
Right.
which means he has a bruised spinal cord, not severed. He can lift his legs.
Yes, absolutely.
And I thought he was joking with me. He goes, I can stick my legs straight out if I wanted
He
to.
absolutely can.
But he has to keep them
right.
down on the wheelchair pedal to compete in the tournament.
Right, if he touches the ground, it's a foul. That's it. He cannot use the ground for leverage.
Okay.
Great spare by Tom. Tom's used to TV now.
There was Roger Dixon he has a 297 game, second highest game. So it's pretty amazing, the scores that can be shot. What weight ball do you throw, Tony?
A 12, 13, or 14. Depends on the condition.
Spare by Ziggy. Ziggy's a big fella. He told me that himself in his own words. He says, I'm strong and I'm big. So.
And he's young.
And he's young. He is 32 years old. Great spare shot, using his spare ball, moving a little bit to the right, getting the ball to hook in the track area over to the spare. And he said, one of the things that improved my game, I went to a 15-pound ball. 32 years old, you're right, Tony. Everybody can throw a 15-pound ball that hard then, huh?
Yeah, that'd be nice. I keep on going down and waiting. These young kids keep on going. Oh.
9-pin. Now, he left an 8-pin earlier in the match. Am I correct on that? An 8-pin? And now he left 2 9-pins. I apologize. 2 9-pins in this match. Great shots.
Hobo Boothe now quickly up in the 7th frame. An 8-pin. You
I
talked
put the kiss
about
to death.
it. You did. Tony, if there was one thing you wanted people to know about wheelchair bowling or about people in wheelchairs, what would it be?
We're people. We just have wheels instead of shoes, and we can do anything. We go out, we go fishing, we do, all kinds of things. Just treat us like ordinary people. If we ask for help, help. If we don't, just say hello and keep on going. That's all I can say.
That's a good point. Very good point. People probably forget that sometimes.
And don't park in our parking places.
There you go.
Oh.
That's a very good point.
Amen on that, Tony. I agree with you on that.
I can do an hour on that.
Yes, because if they'd see and realize that you oftentimes can't park anywhere else because you don't have the room to get out of your vehicle.
That's right.
Incoming lights, dropping off that 10. She liked that shot. Little reaction from Kim.
She's a very smooth woman. Very, very smooth.
Yes.
still a close one, Tony. I want to thank you for being with us in the booth. It's been a pleasure, and for all you do to put this event together and everything you do for wheelchair bowlers.
Thank you very much. The PWBA has been a great supporter of our organization, and I can't thank you guys enough.
Well,
it's been fun.
Okay, thanks, Tony. Team Macpherson in front by just 1 pin, so it's close. Stay with us. There's a look at Tony's lovely wife, Luana Alagna, who does a lot of work also, and David Curling, a big supporter here of this event, and we thank him. He bowls it as well. And here's a look at some of the other finishers, Shar Hamill and Dave Roberts. Maxine Nabel from Australia.
Dennis Swada making the finals last year.
There's Walt Roy that we talked about, the big numbers. Linda Wallace, an amateur who came and joined us this week. Shanna Ray, always in the finals. Gene Stuss, Bob Willis. A lot of fun teams, and there's a look at the individual scores and the way that adds up with the handicap. It's Macpherson's team out in front by just 1 pin. There's 3 frames left. A lot of bowling yet with 3 on a team. And you were right, Carolyn. It's an even match.
I am telling you, today, from the very first game, every match came down the 9th to 10th frame. Hit it. Ooh.
So Tom Hein with a split, 6-7-10. Carolyn, it's particularly difficult for them to shoot the right side spares, isn't it, for the wheelchair bowlers? Or did they do it
Well, not according to them, because they tell you nothing's impossible. And I say, hey, I'm not going to argue with you. But it is a little bit hard to go across the lane because they have to have the right leverage, the right ball speed, the right angle. And for some of the wheelchair bowlers that are, like I said, with different injuries, when they don't have the upper body strength, it is a little bit harder to control it.
Exactly. And
looked like good shot. And we could see from back here, he liked that shot when he let it go. He was kind of leaning over a little bit. He's going for it. Let's see. Oh! And his reaction, his arm.
You're kidding me.
Oh.
You know, if he's going to shoot it back well, give it to him.
Look at this. Changed balls. Ball that goes straighter. Tap, tap,
come
tap.
on.
Come on. Look at him. Look, help. Oh, Tom.
You know,
I feel for him.
Look at Fran Deacon. Can she change the score down there? Her tournament director. Come on, help her.
Ooh, Ziggy chopping the 3-6-10.
Yeah, shaking his head. Not happy with that one. Hobo Boothe looking over at the score, and everybody's trying to figure out the exact score because it does change so quickly with the 3-person team.
I asked Hobo, I said, how did you bowl? He goes, I bowled good. My team, they bowled great.
Handegard. He's just throwing great shot after great shot here. He's had 3 9 counts, the rest strikes through 8 frames.
And I'm going to give us a plug here. I'm bowling a senior tournament with John Handegard in December. Looking forward to it. Yes, I am.
Who's going to hold who up?
I told him he was going to hold me up.
Okay.
Great shot by Hobo. Another ring 10.
Kim Terrell now, as you mentioned earlier, she won that Queens tournament to start the season. She's currently ranked 3rd in earnings, 5th in our competition points, and 8th in average on tour. She's actually having one of the best years of her career. This is about her 9th show, I believe. I don't have all the stats right here, but she has just been a regular on the broadcast.
U.S. Open changed everything around. The U.S. Open is the one she won at the end of last year and then just started off with a bang this year. Good to see. Talented all these years and just never had one of those miraculous breakthrough years, and here it is, and well-deserved.
4-time Player of the Year, Wendy Macpherson. Wendy taking a little time. It looks like she's having some problem with her feel there in the bowling ball.
Actually, her thumb is stuck in the ball, and that happened to her a couple times today, and she actually cracked a joke about it. She said, you know, it was a little warmer in here today. Yeah, a little warmer in here today, and she is a field player, uses her rosin, and her hand was stuck in the ball. She goes, I'm stuck. I got to get out of here. And that's what happened, so take a few extra seconds.
See if it pays off. 100 seconds and leaves a 4-pin. Good shot though, and that's tough because temperature changes so much for the women, and you could almost use 3 different sets of bowling balls.
Yeah, really. She stood up on that one a little bit, pulled through it, still held the line, went a little high, left the 4-pin. Wendy bowls good in this event every year, and I joked with her all week. I mean, she averages 220 in this event every year.
And we'll continue to show you some of the other teams that bowled. Team Liz Johnson, Smiley Wallace, and there's a look at Amy Dillon.
Amy Dillon, Les Middleton, and Dave Bernhardt, owner of Turbo 2-in-1 grips.
Ah, there's the Dugan team, and she's here trying to get us these numbers and add up the team scores. Jim Lewis. Team Barrett.
Team Barrett, she's just having a phenomenal year. Peter Arbello, who won this event.
Here's a look at the score right now, which puts Team Terrell in the lead by 11 pins. So it's going back and forth here, but each frame bowled, the leaders are changing. A lot of pressure on these bowlers. This has to be a thrill for them because I know they've wanted to have it televised so many years, and to be able to have this as a part of the schedule.
And everybody stayed for the TV show, you know, all the wheelchair bowlers, the spectators, everybody had a great time. Good shot by Tom, leaving the 6-pin. Right in that track area up the middle of the lane, gets a break.
So he has the 6 to convert. And meanwhile, Ziggy up right now. Ziggy in the 9th frame. He's coming off an open frame.
Oh, gets attacked from the gutter. Threw that one a little bit harder. Gets great rotation on it. Threw that one a little bit harder. Gets it to the right. High flush. Tap. And look at that. Yeah.
Yeah. Tom Hein now going at the spare. Perfect. In Tom's highest 3-game series, 556, and he has a high game of 221. That's pretty impressive.
He was steady as a rock this week.
Hobo Boothe. He's on a spare, working on a spare, leaving a 310, so he'll have to try to convert this as his team was down by just a few pins as they entered this frame. Meanwhile, John Handegard just continuing to pound the pocket. He's working on a strike right here. Can put the Terrell team up by 10 more with another strike.
And he does, and he likes the reaction, and look at him.
I think the 8-10, though, was they were the last 2 to fall. I think he should be happy. He carried that one.
I think that's why he's hooping it. High flush.
Whoop, 8-10 out.
Yes.
310 was not converted by Hobo Boothe. So Kim Terrell will step up and try to follow John Handegard.
Great shot by Kim. Lane a little bit smoother, let it roll up to the pocket, no problem, stayed with that shot, rolls up into the pocket just a little bit harder and taps out the 10.
And as we said, 32 teams bowled, a lot more. There's Kathy Dorn Lizzie. She's out in the truck right now doing our graphics for us. Dave Perling, as you saw a little bit ago, Dale Eagle.
Steve Neff, one of the youngest seniors here this week, Cal Marvin and Rachel Perez.
Early Daniel, and there's Tony Lagna. That was his team, and Norm, they had a great time.
Team Kamrowski. Marcia, once again, bowling great this week. Jim Sullivan and Larry Lodge.
And there's a look right now at the scoreboard. Team Terrell now in the lead by 45 pins. Big frame for Team Terrell as they threw 2 doubles and stayed clean through the 9th frame.
Roy holding up the end there.
Having a great time.
That ball a little bit further right, threw it a little bit harder, and you know what? No 6-pin that time, no 10-pin.
And that's a big shot right now for him because their team's in the lead, and that's going to help secure that lead. Ziggy's going to need to strike here or motivate his team somehow. Oh, nope, leaving the 3-6 going high.
No matter what happens here today, I think we're going to see Ziggy back next year, even better than he was this year, and I'm sure we're going to see Tom.
I think we'll see everybody that bowled back. I think they all had a great time. And Tom's looking to fill it big, and he does.
I'm even clapping. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting about him commentating here.
Yeah, many announcers clapping in the booth here. Double for, you're not supposed to show favoritism here.
I know, I'm not. I got to tell you, even when you're bowling in the matches, and we all talked about it, there wasn't anybody you rooted against. You clapped for the other team.
Yeah,
it didn't matter.
Right. You want them all to do well.
Absolutely.
Recovers the spare. Good spare for Ziggy.
And I do. I have to admit, I'm busy watching. We all got into this event, and I'm just clapping.
So Tom Hein doing a great duty for his team to finish off the 10th.
Finish by Tom, great score by Tom.
So with his handicap, he shoots a score of 220. That was with 59 pins handicap, but big score out of Tom Hein.
And a big finish, and it was very important for the team.
So with his handicap, he finishes up with a 219 total. He had 54 pins of handicap.
Throwing it a little bit harder, coming in light in the pocket, and that was the best hit this week.
Way to finish it
little
big.
Smile.
Exactly. There's a few more teams. Team Grijalva, Tennille just back after surgery on her finger. Bruce Henderson, Car Honeychurch back at
Team Honeychurch, yes, back after a little bit of a break, and Mel Wolf.
John Sardini. Team Davidson, Dick Baker, Mike Deloche, thank you.
I had to ask.
Okay.
Team Silver, Michelle Silver, always a finalist. A lot of fun. Kirk Tupper and David Melkenjohn, I think is how you say it. There were a few I had to ask.
And they're attempting to get lane 21 reset right now as the 4-7 is still standing. Hobo Boothe now up on the approach. Hobo really needing to strike out here. Needs a big finish to
Even the 4, 6, 7, shaking his head, not real happy. Middle part of the lane, the track area hooked a little bit, missed a little left. That's the end result.
John Handegard, double, spare, double, spare, and double. Can't miss, and still can't miss.
He was running it out. As soon as he let it go, he was halfway back on the approach.
Hobo Boothe taking 2 of those pins. Handegard up for a second shot in the 10th, and pretty much going through the motions here, but he still looks pretty intense. He still wants to strike out and throw a big game.
Still concentrating.
10-pin, and there's another 4 teams that actually finished in the 5th through 8th bracket. Team Tish Johnson, and there's Team Stanbro. Team Stroud with Jeannie, we mentioned. She had one with Tim Terrell. Yes, Pete Couture there. Team Turner. Clarence Steele, Vaughn Duty.
Clarence Steele, only 2nd time in this event. Absolutely loved it and flew in the day before the event to get here.
John Handegard sparing it up with a big game of 236. And these 2 teams got in by beating this team, Harold Giannotti Block and Ron Johnson, and also Michelle Feldman, Wayne Weber, Barry Asher.
Hit it. There you go. There's that carry, Wendy.
Kim Terrell going to shoot at the 10-pin. And she covers it up, so it is Team Terrell again, the champion. We'll be back with more. Stay with us. The championship round finals of the Rollers and Pro Bowlers are being brought to you by the Women's International Bowling Congress, striving for 87 years to identify and fulfill the needs of women bowlers. By Travelodge Hotels, proud to be the official lodging sponsor of the Professional Women's Bowling Association. And by PWBA.com, new and improved with more advanced and accessible news and information. Final score including the handicap of the wheelchair bowler, Team Terrell 668 to Team Macpherson 617. And there's a look at the winning team, senior John Handegard, wheelchair bowler Tom Hein, and PWBA 2nd-time champion in this event, Kim Terrell. Tune in next Monday at 10 p.m. Eastern for the finals of the Wheelchair Awareness Classic from Country Club Lanes right here in Mesa, Arizona. For Carolyn Doran-Ballard, I'm Jan Schmidt. We hope you enjoyed seeing the ladies in a different light and increased your awareness of wheelchair bowling. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.